Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to the channel. Man, it's been a while, right? Oh, it's been a while. Last time you guys saw me or heard from me was um I put out that video where I was sitting there talking outside of the gym and I acted like Lou versus Wall Street. Since then, so much has happened, right? And first, let me, I'm gonna talk for my ego for a little bit here, okay? Um, you know, we had all these creators like Rico and Trey uh, making these impersonations of Lou after the fact, which was a lot of fun over there on Twitter. Um, Lou even had like the video where he talked about Trey and the situation that he had in his video with the big black dildo. So so yeah, man, it was a good week after that. And aside from that, what was really interesting and what I'm gonna take full credit and responsibility for is AMC absolutely went ham this week. Absolutely ham, dude. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the technical aspect of that. Because, well, to be honest with you, I don't think that the technicals really matter that much because I think that what it's actually attributed to is me acting like Lou versus Wall Street. That's actually what happened. So I guess the video's over now. So before I left, and then going through the week on Twitter, what we were following was the continuation of this uptrend, right? And this uptrend was based on the bottom of this wick here, as well as the bottom of this wick here on January 27th. So from the 24th to the 27th, this kind of double tap, creating a double bottom sort of scenario, right? Let me make my numbers bigger while I'm thinking about it. And so what you saw going forward was you broke below it on this day, the 28th, but then you rocketed up, you came back and you retested this zone, boom, and you ultimately found support here. And at its peak, this move, from this trend line bottom, you had upwards of 43% up, right? Now, as far as close goes, you close the week here 28%, right? So really big week, explosive week for AMC. The best week that AMC has had, I believe, since back here in November. It might actually be more upside than that week. Yeah, so 17% versus where you opened 20%. Yeah, so even more than that. Wow. Let's see. Open to close in August. Wow, even more than wow. So yeah, I mean, this is the biggest week, wow, that AMC has had in a long time. Really, really good stuff. Explosive movement, right? So let's dig a little bit deeper into it and figure out where we are from here, right? So what we were following before was falling wedge. And I mean, you can say a downtrend, right? You have this downtrend here. I'd say probably. Let's take a closer look. And there's a bunch of different ways that you can draw it, but here on the weekly, I'd say that this is probably the best. You go peak to peak here, and say, okay, now this is the new top of this downtrend, right? Because this is where we got rejected down. Previously, we were watching it. Let me go down to a shorter time frame here. Previously, we were watching it, I think. It's hard for me to remember. I've been out of office. We had the plumbing thing that I talked about in the other video, and then me and my fiance went out to the city, booked a hotel, had a nice dinner, hung out with some friends. So we had that, and then yeah, and then today I actually went fishing with my dad, so that was cool. So I've just been out and about, not really following too much. But yeah, this looks like a pretty good downtrend. And so I remember tweeting saying, "Oh, look, we've gotten a breakout of this falling wedge that we had drawn up here, right?" Let's see, it was from here like this would have been how I drew it based on these two touch points back here, all the way in July. You can see you found support here, ultimately breaking up, and then so you had a breakout, and then you came back down. and then now you're back inside of this wedge. Okay, so I would not say that this is a confirmed breakout of the falling wedge yet, based on this drawing. Obviously, you could make the case that this is a falling wedge within that got broken out of, but these are patterns that are playing out like we talk about over and over again. They're playing out on micro and macro scales, right? And it's an overall reversal pattern, so it's not going to just happen and have this one big explosion. But I would say that once you get out of this downtrend, basically, then your upside gets a little bit more, your upside potential gets a little bit more intense, because then you're dealing with downtrends like way up here. Sorry for the bad drawing there. So you'd say like, okay, this is your downtrend now that you would see next. And there's a bunch of downtrends within here, but in a relatively short period of time, you could see moves up to, this $30 to $32, $33 region, if you can confirm a breakout above this downtrend. Not financial advice. It's not a guarantee, obviously. And you're going to face horizontal resistance on the way up. But generally speaking, these sorts of moves are the ones where you can really start to see that momentum come into play, where, okay, well, we've already confirmed these areas as support or resistance before, so now the test is to the upside. And one of the ways that you can tell where the price might go based on that is using VPVR. So if we look at the all-time VPVR, and we talked about this before I went on my little hiatus here. Remember, we were talking about this 1450-ish level as a super key area of support, and ultimately, we came here, and I mean, we absolutely, right, we broke below it briefly and absolutely found it as a floor here. And the reason that this was such a key level of support for us was because if you measured this Fibonacci before the buy button situation and you go to the pre-market high, you see the 618 Fibonacci was held as support here. The same goes if you measure from the buy button bottom here, that 1450-ish level, right, 1430, right, was your 618 Fibonacci on the log scale. And you can see here that the price did not want to go below that, right? It dipped into the golden pocket briefly. Boom, but you never closed a daily candle, right? You never closed a daily candle below this 618 level, right? Take the VPVR off of there because it's a little confusing. Let me make this blue so you can see the difference. See there? You never had a daily close below this $14.32 level. You held above it the entire time. So that is, I mean, look, if you take anything from this video, this might be what you want to take. Unless the only thing that you ever want to do is hold AMC stock and then you never want to make money any other way in the market again. But what I can tell you is if you're looking at a stock, just any stock in the market that's on a macro downtrend and it approaches a key level like this, right? A key Fibonacci level on the macro scale, it's a pretty high percentage trade, right? You're gonna have the opportunity here in a relative short amount of time, and you can see here that this took a few weeks, but in the relative short term, that you are gonna see a bounce, right? You're gonna see a reversal in price to at least test the next level up, and you can see here, look, this 0.5 Fibonacci acted as resistance, and so maybe this right here, options. If you bought options and you ride the options for a 40% gain in the stock's value, I mean, the amount of money you can make in options is just absolutely silly. So that's just something to consider, going forward. If you are in the market, whether you want to be a trader or if you just want it to be a more passive thing, you can say, hey, this stock is at a macro 618. It's dropping really hard lately. You're gonna see some relief at some point, at least, right? But what does that say for the future, right? What are we talking about from a macro scale? What does this represent, right? I mean, it can represent a few things. What am I gonna say? You're going to the moon tomorrow? No, I'm not going to say that. Well, because it's the weekend, so that's pretty much impossible unless they open the market on the weekend in order for AMC to run. Because AMC obviously is the most important stock in the market. That would be the only case. I'm trolling. Don't get mad. It's a joke. But what I will say is, on the short term, you do look accumulative here. You have you know, a solid amount of volume on this move up. You can see that the volume is sort of stair stepping as the price goes up, which is a really good sign. You're looking at this level now, this $18.50 that you're sitting above. And from a Fibonacci perspective, you are currently sitting atop you found support at your 382 Fibonacci, right? So what does this all mean? Well, let's look at the local VPVR. That's what I would do. Yeah, I mean, you have an air pocket down here, probably to this like $17 level, and then below that, $16.50. I would expect that, you know, you are looking a little distributive here in the short term. But generally speaking, I see this as an accumulation. And then this is your backup phase, but the backup phase can extend down to your 0.5 Fibonacci, extend down to your 1687. So, I mean, look, AMC is actually the negative beta argument. The people who are like all in on negative beta for AMC have to be like literally pissing their pants right now, because SPY absolutely. I mean, I was sitting on the boat with my dad, and I told him, I'm like, dude, the market is crashing right now, dude. I mean, SPY absolutely just was tearing through these levels here, and I don't want to say support. And I think that this goes back to another good point, right? When you come into a key zone here where you're seeing resistance and support, and then you have this sort of like shelf where the price didn't trade around very much, right? In this region, you kind of just broke straight down through it and broke up through it. It's usually a good sign that you're going to come back and retest these regions before you see any significant move upward, right? And if not, then it's probably going to be left there for later for you to come back for a retracement later on in the future. But anyway, I mean, SPY was absolutely dumping its face off here. I mean, in the past few days. Let's see. The weekly candles for AMC and SPY are almost inverse. Let's go take a look. So you see the SPY one. Oh, I'm drawing something. Sorry. Yeah, so you have this like giant green candle, like we said, the best week AMC has seen in literally, like, I mean, probably since June. And SPY is just the opposite candle, just absolutely just getting hammered here. So inverse negative beta people for AMC got to be having a good time. I know that, you know, this uptrend that we were watching, let's draw that in the short term. Let's do it on the daily. The daily is more significant. Remember, we drew this uptrend based on these bottoms here, and I'm just look, guys, I'm just analyzing the chart in real time. So, you know, you guys there are definitely gonna be people that are like, just get to the point. I mean, I'm just analyzing the chart, so you just, you know, find a different channel or something. Wait, is this the uptrend we were watching? This was it, right? Yeah, this was it. Wick to wick right here. And then what I would be saying is, okay, extend this line to either side and just see how significant this line is historically for AMC. And you can see here that you almost get a touch here whenever the buy button happens. You have resistance here, kind of a bull trap scenario happened here. And support here back in April of 2020. So, yeah, I mean, this is a significant line. It'll be interesting to watch, right? So if we have some retracement for AMC, because I do sort of expect that just based on these last few daily candles that you come back and retest some lower levels. I mean, you can kind of see that, and it's not a bad thing necessarily. You kind of have to do this, right? You have to. You get really overextended like this, you have to spend some time cooling off. I'm not necessarily saying that it has to come back to this trend line tomorrow, but you have to spend some time cooling off in order to reinvigorate bulls and find that next level of support, right? And based on what we talked about earlier with SPY, right? You saw this big blank block where there wasn't very much trading between this 445 and like 440-ish level, right? You kind of just blasted through it on either side. You can make a similar case for this sort of level, this sort of zone here from 1650 to 1728. You didn't spend too much time there. I know there's a lot of noise on the chart. You didn't spend a lot of time there. You kind of just blasted right through each one of those regions. You really accumulated down here. You see the amount of trading that happened down here. From a macro perspective, this trading right here is valuable, right? Because what it does is it confirms these levels. But when it comes to these levels that you just kind of blasted right through, there's less liquidity, there's less volume to prove those levels, if that's a way you want to look at it. And so you could get rejected off of this higher level, higher zone, and find a volume floor somewhere. Maybe you come down, tap this 1650 before you continue your move up, and it correlates with that trend line, right? So that's kind of the multifaceted approach. You want to look at the market from multiple angles, and see it from multiple perspectives, so that then you're able to come to a better conclusion of what you think can happen. So I mean, that's pretty much the video. Falling wedge. We'll draw it one more time. If you draw it like this, you never broke out of it, or maybe for a moment you did. Let's see. Boom. Yeah, so look, it's the same deal, kind of, right? If you never broke out of the falling wedge, which right now I think that it's certainly the case where you've gotten rejected off of the top of this thing. Like I don't think anybody can doubt that this was a rejection. You got rejected at this $21-ish level, okay? So the key levels and trends that you're going to want to be watching, I would say, are 21. You got to break to get super bullish, and then if you break 21, you can see that you kind of just crash through this region. You're going to see 28 in the relative short term after that, right? I mean, obviously there's going to be some level of consolidation, but over the course of the next few weeks, if you break 21 with conviction, you're going to see 28 pretty quick. And if you can break 28 pretty quickly, you can get moving to the high 30s in a relatively short period of time. That's definitely a possibility, but you definitely need to break this existing downtrend, maintain this uptrend, right? This uptrend I think this is the most important thing to be watching for AMC right now. Because if you're watching this as a falling wedge reversal pattern, and I know that I've seen some people say, well, it's not a wedge, but to me, this is a prototypical, and it's especially an AMC wedge. Like it looks exactly like this move that you saw back here with AMC. It looks exactly like this move that we saw here with AMC from a wedge perspective. Here, I'll show you. Like this, we called this breakout. We called this breakout here. To me, this looks exactly like those wedges, except on a much more macro scale. It's the same pattern in my opinion. I don't see I don't see any difference, honestly. Like to me they look exactly the same. I mean, you could even make the case that wait, hold on. What am I doing? I don't know. First time, dude. I've never done charts before. I mean, but you can. Actually, I think that somebody in my Discord, Chad Caruso, he has a YouTube channel. I think that he doesn't do charts on his YouTube channel. I think he's a skateboarder. You can make the case here that this is the falling wedge that you're in, and you have even deeper consolidation that's needed. But again, the conversation ends if you continue to find support on this trend line. And thus far, you have had a good reaction on this trend line for bulls, okay? So I'm pretty confident in this trend. We said that 1450 was like our level, right? That we wanted to see be the ultimate bottom for AMC. And if not, then you would be heading down into the $12 to $10 range, and then the $8 to $10 range. And we didn't want to see that. We thought that the likelihood was in your favor with the 1450, just based on this previous support and resistance that was occurring back before the June run, combined with that Fibonacci level. I mean, the confluence of things going on here, the reasons for this to end up being your ultimate support are very strong, in my opinion. But you do have to see that continuation, right? So with that being said, I mean, I did babble on a lot in this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you gained something from it. We were just kind of analyzing the chart in real time, so I'm sorry if it was a little time consuming, but I know a lot of you guys get value from when we sit here and spend some time with the chart and learn the chart as we go. So if you did, make sure you drop a like on the video. Really helps the channel out a lot, and it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. In the broader market, SPY. There are obviously like war concerns and everything like that going on in the real world. But overall, we said that this was looking very double toppy on Twitter at this 458 level. And then shortly afterwards, you break this level here, this 450. Right? You see this? You filled your gap, you tapped 450, came up for support. Once you break here and then you retest a couple times, you're going to be off to the races, right? Anytime that you have a psychological level like that, you come down, you wick, you find really good support on it, and then you break it afterwards, that's a sign of weakness, and you're going to LPSY your way down. So, look, man, SPY, we can just briefly look at SPY. Just briefly here. Yeah, well, you filled your air pocket. I think that you see probably a relief bounce from this effort. Probably futures or open Monday. You'll probably see a relief effort up here to 447 or so, and maybe you consolidate around here. But overall, to me, I'm gonna be honest. In the broader context, this SPY move, this move up looks like LPSY to me in a Wyckoff distribution. So, yeah, this looks like kind of the final move up before you see a continuation to the downside. That's what it looks like to me. I could be completely wrong. Maybe this accumulation resolves that. But you have pretty significant volume on this sell-off here. This is a pretty strong rejection. So definitely going to be interesting to watch the market the next few weeks, as it has been for some time now with, COVID and, everything that's been going on in the world. So hopefully you enjoyed. That's the video, and I'm going to be posting more consistently. Sorry about that. Just, kind of a wild week. Had a lot going on. But if you haven't already, make sure you follow me on Twitter. My Discord link is in the description down below. It's completely free to join. There are no paid versions of my Discord as it stands. So, yeah. Until next time. Oh, shit. I got to sing a song. What song should I sing? I want to close every video with like a nostalgic song. I think I sang Zombie already. I like that song. Oh, here's one. Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come? Won't you come? Black hole sun, black hole sun. That's the background singing. All right. Hopefully you enjoyed that. All right. Have a good weekend. Hey, have a good weekend with your family, dude. Don't do like no crazy shit. All right. Peace.